CathayPacific Flight 780 was a flight from Surabaya Juanda International Airport in Indonesia to Hong Kong International Airport on 13th of April 2010. There were 309 passengers and a crew of 13 on board. As Flight 780 neared Hong Kong, the crew was unable to change the thrust output of the engines. The aircraft, an Airbus A330-342, landed at almost twice the speed of a normal landing, suffering minor damage. Want to know about it? Well, stay tuned to the video and watch the video till the end. Hello guys, welcome to the Mayday investigation. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification to get new updates about plane crashes and basically anything around air crash investigation. Hit the like button to show your support. And in this video, we are going to talk about CathayPacific Flight 780. So without any further ado, let's begin. All the injuries occurred during the evacuation when the passengers were coming down the slides. There were 56 passengers who sustained minor injuries. Most of the injured passengers received medical treatment at the airport and were discharged. 10 passengers had been sent to the hospitals for treatment. The flight's two Australian pilots, Captain Malcolm Waters and First Officer David Hayhoe, who safely landed the aircraft despite the extraordinary challenge, have been compared to pilots Chesley Sullenberger and Jeffrey Skiles of U.S. Airways Flight 1549 previous year, January 2009. In March 2014, the two Flight 780 pilots were awarded with Polaris Award by the International Federation of Airline Pilots Association for their heroism and airmanship. The Hong Kong-based airline said that it and engine maker Rolls-Royce was investigating the incident. The cockpit announcement as the plane bumped through the air towards Hong Kong was a masterpiece of understatement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain speaking, and you no doubt may be aware we have a small problem with our engines. Minutes earlier, the pilot who spoke those calm but ominous words, Malcolm Waters, then 35 years old, had been struggling alongside First Officer David Hayhoe to prevent the crippled CathayPacific aircraft from plunging into the South China Sea. In an extraordinary sequence of events, the plane's two Rolls-Royce engines spluttered and failed in the final descent to Hong Kong, leaving the captain and co-pilot with an unprecedented challenge. For 3 to 4 minutes, the plane headed helplessly towards the choppy ocean below before the pilots managed to regain thrust in one engine to keep Flight 780 aloft. Engine 2 was out of action, producing no power. Engine 1 had failed, but was temporarily working, although they couldn't adjust power. If they'd shut that down too, they'd have been gliding and probably would have crashed with total loss of life. They didn't have the power to climb and had one shot at landing, so they made damn sure they got it on the runway. Not a bad landing considering the circumstances. During the climb, both engines had small engine pressure ratio, EPR, a measure of the amount of thrust output, fluctuations, with the number 2 engine fluctuating over a greater range than the number 1 engine. The cabin crew also conducted the cabin safety demonstration to the passengers, which included the emergency evacuation procedure, in accordance with company requirements with the assistance of an in-flight video and safety cards. The Aviation Routine Weather Report (METAR) issued a 30 hours at WARR for departure flight indicated that the wind was from the variable direction at 2 knots, with 7 kilometers visibility, scattered clouds at 1,800 feet, and a few cumulonimbus clouds at 2,000 feet, just over half an hour after takeoff, when the aircraft was at its cruising altitude of flight level 390, about 39,000 feet above sea level. The electronic centralized aircraft monitoring ECAM system displayed an ENG2 CTL system default message. The crew contacted the airline engineering department at maintenance control and discussed the fluctuation, as other engine operating parameters on both engines were normal. The flight crew and MC decided it was safe for the flight to continue. Almost 2 hours after departure, at 3:16 UTC, the Engine 2 Control System Default ECAM message reappeared. The flight contacted MC to review the issue again. Fuel samples were collected from both the upstream and the downstream of the filter vessel and dispenser JUA06, the ground refueling hydrant at stands number 8 and 11, the fuel storage tank of WARR, and 3 low points of the WARR hydrant circuit. There was no sign of SAP spheres in the ground fuel samples. As all other engine parameters remained normal, both the flight crew and the MC were again satisfied that it was safe to continue flying to Hong Kong. After another 2 hours elapsed, the aircraft was on descent to Hong Kong when at 5:19 UTC, at a position about 203 kilometers southeast of Hong Kong's Blackbox Airport. The aircraft's ECAM displayed ING-1 Control System Default and ING-2 Stall within a short period. The second message signified an engine compressor stall, a potentially serious engine problem. The flight crew accordingly carried out the necessary ECAM actions, with the number 2 engine's thrust lever moved to the idle or minimum thrust position. The crew increased the number 1 engine's thrust to maximum continuous thrust (MCT) to compensate for the low thrust of the number 2 engine. Following these actions, the crew declared a pan-pan with Hong Kong Air Traffic Control, requesting the shortest possible route to the airport and priority landing. There were engine fan blade tip rub marks at 6 and 12 o'clock positions on the fan case caused by deformation of the casing, and the engine contacted the runway. Analysis of the flight data by the manufacturer concluded that the left main landing gear and nose landing gear had experienced a vertical load that exceeded the design limit load. At 13:43 hours local time and 11 minutes after declaring the Mayday, the crew landed the aircraft on Blackbox runway at a ground speed of 426 kilometers per hour. This speed was 176 kilometers per hour, more than an A330's normal speed at touchdown, was above the maximum allowable flap extension speed of the A330-300, and was also higher than the speed rating of the tires. After touchdown, only the number 1 engine's thrust reverser deployed and the crew brought the aircraft to a stop using maximum braking. Number 1 engine remained at between 70% and 80% N1 throughout until the crew shut down both engines after stopping the aircraft. 5 of the aircraft's 8 main wheel tires deflated, and airport firefighters reported that smoke and flames were coming from the landing gear. All 8 emergency exit doors were used after the cabin crew had confirmed the absence of fire or smoke outside the exits. Exit doors L1, R1, and R4 were each attended by 2 cabin crew members, and the remaining 5 exit doors were each attended by 1 cabin crew member. Some passengers took their cabin bags along and did not follow the cabin crew instructions to leave their bags behind before jumping onto the slides. The whole evacuation was completed in about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. The commander, the co-pilot, and the ISM walked through the cabin to make sure there are no one left inside the aircraft before they left. Both the commander and the co-pilot had the proper licenses, qualifications, recency, and medical certificates for the assigned duties. Both of them had cross-crew qualifications (CCQ) with the A330 and A340. Investigators from the Hong Kong Civil Aviation Department, the Bureau d'Enquêtes et d'Analyses pour la Sécurité de l'Aviation Civile (BEA) of France, and the Air Accident Investigation Branch (AAIB) of the United Kingdom formed a team to investigate the accident. The National Transportation Safety Committee (NTSC) of Indonesia and the National Transportation Safety Board (NTSB) of the United States of America were also involved in the investigation, as were representatives of Airbus, Rolls-Royce, and Cathay Pacific. The engine EPR fluctuations of CPA-780 were reviewed, as the other company aircraft BHLM was refueled at WARR and operated CPA-780 for the previous 2 days before the accident. The engine EPR parameters of these flights were also reviewed. Analysis of certain aircraft fuel samples was performed at the laboratory in Hong Kong, and examinations and further analysis of the items were performed in the United Kingdom. A series of examinations and tests on the filter monitors were also performed by Shell Global Solutions, Aviation Fuels and Analytical Technology Groups at Shell Technology Centre, Thornton, UK. Data from the digital flight data recorder, cockpit voice recorder, and quick access recorder were downloaded for analysis. The investigation concentrated on the engines, the engine control systems, and the fuel system. Analysis of the engines found that their fuel systems were contaminated with spherical particles. The Hong Kong Civil Aviation Department's Accident Investigation Division concluded that the accident was caused by these spherical particles. Now that we've come to the end of this video, I want to thank you for sticking with me, and I'd love to know what you think of it. Just comment down below. Also, if you like this video, make sure you like it and stay safe. Today's video is over, but if you want to see more, there's one on your screen right now, and there are a few more videos coming soon about air crashes investigations. I'll see you in the next video.